Hello, in what I hope will be a brief video tutorial, I want to show you how to get started with Twitter. So here is the syllabus for our course this semester. Hopefully that is recognizable and familiar to you. I've begun scrolling down to the section here with links to all of the different assignment descriptions. We'll be using this hashtag, #HIST 416 no spaces. So no matter which section of the course you're in, even if you're in the political science or criminal justice cross lists, we'll all be using this same hashtag. Likewise, if you're in the 516 graduate sections of the course, we'll all be using the same hashtag. I'm going to click on Reading Tweets and open the document. So you can click on any of those links in the syllabus and they will take you to these other documents that contain the full description for the assignments. And you'll notice I do this quite often. I guess it's just my style. I put learning objectives up front and center for each of these assignments, but I also give a brief description of why I've given the assignment and what I hope it accomplishes. The one on Twitter is a little more thoughtful regarding thinking about how we present ourselves in the public sphere online. So what is our digital presence? How can we protect ourselves online in online spaces and so on? Please do contact me if you have any questions or concerns regarding those kinds of issues or those kinds of questions. I'm happy to help out however I can. Please also recognize you can use a pseudonym for Twitter. So if you don't want to be known as yourself on Twitter, or if you want to use an account that is not your private account because you already use Twitter, totally fine. You can create a separate account, or I should say, or use a pseudonym for yourself on Twitter. If you do so, please let me know what that pseudonym is so that I will be able to give you the appropriate credit for your work on the class. So scrolling down, what I want to do is I've embedded a bunch of these links to the course hashtag. That will also take you to twitter.com where you can get started with Twitter. So I'm going to click on one of those course hashtag links. And I'm at home, as you can tell, so we'll see how good my internet is. I've set this, when it lands on the course hashtag, to go to latest. Even if you don't have an account yet, you can see what has been posted at the course hashtag. So again, anything with this #HIST416, no spaces, will show up. It's just a way of organizing things posted to Twitter. So everything posted for our class will be there. And as you can tell, I've been working hard not only to claim this hashtag for our class, but also to post a lot of different stories relative to the current situation at the US-Mexico border. It's become highly and hotly politicized recently, as you well know. And so again, I've been trying to share a variety of different stories that relate to that. Okay, so that aside, you can either, if you have an account, you can log in. You can actually have this set so that you don't have to log in every time. It will just keep you logged in. I logged out so that I can show you how to sign up. So I'm going to click sign up. You can also get to what I'm doing if you just go to twitter.com and you click sign up. You can get to the same place. You'll have to create your account. You'll have to give your name. You don't have to give a phone number. You can use email instead. And that's where you start. I'm not going to go through all of the steps because that should be pretty straightforward. It's changed a little bit in terms of how it's laid out in recent years, but it's still pretty straightforward. It's the same as creating a free account for any web platform that you may use. So please go through all of that on your own. Let's see, I thought I could still log in. I might have to go back. I'm going to go back. So go through all of those steps on your own. And then once you've created your account, you can log in. So I'm going to log in. One other thing I want to say about setting up your account, Twitter will try to get you to follow everyone under the moon in certain ways. So you don't have to follow anyone for the purposes of our class. If you want to just set up an account and you want to lurk on Twitter, that's a word that some of my colleagues use for those of us that don't like to just jump into conversations, but we like to see what's going on first. That's totally fine. You don't have to follow anyone. You can just participate with the class on our hashtag. I actually prefer the term listen to lurk, but anyway, that's a whole other kind of conversation. So when you log into Twitter, you will see your own homepage. You had the chance to create a profile picture, a background picture when you first set up your account. So this is your account information. It will show how many tweets you've done, how people you're following, all of that kind of thing. What appears here in the middle are the tweets of everyone that you follow. It gives you suggestions of who to follow. Again, that is more or less, or that is less important for our purposes than finding the course hashtag. So when you want to do work for the class, you can go to this search Twitter box and type in the course hashtag. Sorry, I did that wrong. 416. There we go. And you'll see the same, well, sort of the same, just kidding, I don't know what happened there. Don't you love the internet? Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop it so that maybe I can get it to go. I do like it when things don't quite work right when I do the tutorials, because you shouldn't panic if things don't work out as you had hoped they would or you thought they would. Just give it another try. So I'm going to hit search for our course hashtag. I do not know why it won't go to it right now. Recent searches. There we go. Okay, so you may have to click 2 or 3 times. Honestly, that's the first time that's ever happened to me. So you can get to the same place from those links that I've embedded in the course, in the syllabus, and elsewhere that I showed you. If you go to it on your own, though, I wanted to point out that you need to click latest. I don't really know how it decides which are top tweets, probably the number of people who have seen them and clicked on them or whatever. But if you click latest, it will show you everything that has been posted to our course hashtag in order from the most recent to the oldest as you scroll down. So that way you can see what others in the class have posted to our course hashtag. If you go to the course hashtag search before you post your work to Twitter, so you've done the reading, you know what you want to say, you come and click the tweet button, and it looks similar, maybe with some slight differences if you use a mobile app. But you click the tweet button, and you'll note that because you are in this course hashtag search already, it already typed the course hashtag there for you. So you don't even have to worry about that. Then all you do is type your tweet. So again, that's whatever comment you have. If you have copied a URL for a website because you want to add an additional resource, again, that's not usually required, but if something you could do, you can paste that into your tweet as well. As long as the course hashtag is there, you're all ready to tweet. Click tweet. You'll notice it didn't show up. That's not just because of my internet connection, but it's because twitter.com does not update in real time. If you use something like TweetDeck, it does update in real time. It's just a different way of interfacing with Twitter and organizing your posts. But it does show up pretty quickly. So there's the new result, and there's the tweet that I just posted. When you want to retweet something, that's what you do here. And it gives you the option of not just, if you just click retweet, that'll just post that to all of your followers. But you can add a comment. And what that will do, so I'm going to just show you that. And I'm going to also, type in the course hashtag and click tweet. I'll show you what that looks like, because that's a way of quoting someone else's tweet and posting it to the course hashtag. Or what I've asked you to do for the purposes of class is to reply to one another. So you'll just click this little bubble, and that opens a box where you can reply. So you'll write your reply, and you'll type the course hashtag. And there it is. So, like I said, not updating in real time, but we will see those 2 tweets that I just added here in a minute. So here's the one that I quoted. So you'll notice that it's quoted this tweet here, and it added my comment on it. And then momentarily, we will see the reply that I made. At least I believe we will. So again, that's all you need to do for our course for the purposes of following the hashtag. Again, if you want to see what others have already written, you just scroll down so that you can read their posts, and you can decide, okay, I want to reply to this one, click reply, and do that. And there's the new result that I mentioned with the reply. If someone else has already replied, so for example, you come to Twitter and someone has replied to someone else's tweet, you'll know that because there will be this show this thread link. So you can click that so that you can see what all has been written. So you can start with the beginning tweet, see the replies, and if there's more than one, you can follow them down the line and add your comments as well. So hopefully that's fairly straightforward. Again, remember, this is the way that we're going to get started with our work for our course. Because we're reading whole books and we're focusing on not just reading for content, but reading for methodology, reading for argument, reading for interpretation. Generally, the first week that we're reading a book, so for example, Module 3 will be the first week that we're reading War of a Thousand Deserts by Brian DeLay. At that point, the first week, we will be looking into methodology. And I'll have more about that in the modules for the course to kind of help guide us toward that kind of conversation. But the reading tweets, again, for Module 3, should focus on what were DeLay's methods for researching this moment in US and Mexican history. So he's looking at the War of a Thousand Deserts, the war against indigenous peoples. I shouldn't even say against indigenous peoples, but the war with Mexicans, Comanches, Apaches, and so on that dominated the Southwest in the years leading up to the US-Mexico War. And then he talks about the US-Mexico War in that context. So we start there because that is the war that created the border that we more or less have today. There have been alterations and additions like the Gadsden Purchase since that time. We'll find out all about that. But again, that's where we start. His book is not, maybe it's not the easiest book in some ways in terms of the methods that he uses, but it is super readable. He's a great writer, and he makes really important contributions to the field. So again, the first week you would focus on the methods. The second week in your reading tweets, because they're due each week, you would focus on some of the ideas, the historical events, those kinds of things that he wrote about to make his arguments about the War of a Thousand Deserts and how it impacted the outcomes of the US-Mexico War. So that was a little more into content than I sort of intended to get with this tutorial, but I hope that's all helpful, especially for just the nuts and bolts of getting started with Twitter. If you have questions, concerns, please reach out as soon as you have them. You can always reach me via email, via text message, and via Twitter. I look forward to learning more from your insights on the US-Mexico border this semester.